Well, it's cold for the first time in this season for me, and I know that because I put long pants on and a sweatshirt on to go running. And while that's kind of a bummer, at least in comparison to warm weather and kind of a carefree attitude about, well, I can just go outside with shorts and a t-shirt and flip-flops and it's no big deal. Um, I do appreciate the transition. I do appreciate, the acclimation to a new feeling outside, a new barometric pressure, a new season, and actually feeling it. It is kind of nice to actually see that change. And at first I kind of rejected it, but then I was like, all right, come on. Because I have spent many a morning up in Warner Springs and been running outside, and it is bitter. And in fact, when I get bundled up and I go running, some of those cold mornings, for some reason, like the cold brings a lot of like quietness and stillness, it seems like. So, some of those mornings when I would be, out there alone, bundled up, and then go on my hike or my run to some sort of outlook, and then the stillness and the quietness that was going on. And some of those experiences were my best ones. Plus, it just kind of keeps your body cool when you're out there on your grind. When I was out there this morning, though, I was listening to explosions in the sky, which is just amazing music. No lyrics, just very like emotional and melodic, like post rock. Not like rock, but like easy rock and like build ups and breakdowns. Incredible. Anyways, I got to certain points and then I looked out and I took my headphones out and I was just looking out, at the sunrise. And it was very still and it was very quiet and I was on my own. And I've done that many times before, but I was reminded again today about how important that activity is to me, where I may not have made time for stillness and solitude and quietness before in my life. Maybe like just constantly seeking some sort of distraction or some sort of entertainment or some sort of input of something. But the combination of the stillness and the quietness and the solitude is unbelievably therapeutic and unbelievably, just kind of like deep and amazing to experience. I try to get those kind of experiences as much as I can, and I know that it can't be all the time because there's just life going on and it unfolds every day with other people and other distractions and other willingly participated in obligations. But the more that I can get some sort of solitude, stillness, silence, and just be in that moment and let that moment be whatever it is and not judge it. It's very, very easy to have a moment like that and have your mind, just kind of still active and judge, the discomfort that you're feeling, or judge, being still and not being, active or productive or whatever. But being in that moment and really feeling it and letting whatever emotions unfold and whatever thoughts pass through without making any big deal of it. Well, for me, at a certain point, I get to a very, very calm and centered and grounded feeling where there's nothing wrong. There never could be anything wrong. There never was anything wrong, and everything is just as it is. So when I have those moments and then I engage in something later on in the day which bring up those feelings of, well, maybe something is wrong, or I'm not doing this, or things need to be in this way or that. Well, it's not that I look back on it and think like, oh, remember this morning? Sometimes I do. But more so the overwhelming sensation of that always being the case. And whatever is in front of me, whatever challenge or obstacle is in front of me, um, I have everything that I need to, face this, because, when we drop all the bullshit of everything that's going on and everything that we're engaged in, and all the internal, input of, all the external stuff, then we realize that, we can handle everything that comes our way. Just kind of with calmness and a steady pace, and it'll all be fine. Another thing that I was thinking about this morning was, because I was observing a coworker, and he gets so riled up or like emotionally distraught when certain times of the day or certain elements of the day come up. For example, Monday mornings are not good for him. Or, like there is a lot of things that we have to accomplish, throughout the day, and just kind of like looking at the pile of tasks or obligations that we have for the day is just like so taxing and overwhelming on his emotions and his psyche, that it just, you can tell, because like when he's in a good mood, he's talkative, like, oh, dude, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. But when those kind of times come up, it's like you could be super enthusiastic and talk about something really fun, and you just get like, yeah, like, whoa, dude, are you okay? What's going on? It's all right, man. We're gonna get through this, I promise you. So what I was thinking about this was, it's it's funny how we have, just as a society, been conditioned to view certain events or certain timelines in a way that, it's kind of shaped our mind to define it that way. What I mean by that is, because the calendar says Monday, and because certain things happen on Monday, like business resumes, school gets back in after the weekend, so on and so forth. But just because the calendar says that, or all these things happen, doesn't mean that like cosmically or universally it's Monday. Monday is something that we've come up with in order to differentiate each day and keep a timeline of things. Now, I don't have anything like super against that, unless people mistake our representation for differentiating days for actuality. So it's not Monday because the calendar says it's Monday. It's Monday because that was an easy way for us to come up with, organizing our weeks, days, years, so on and so forth. The day is exactly the same. The sun rises and it's up there for a while, and then later on it falls down past the horizon, and then nighttime, and then at some point you go to sleep, and then you wake up and you do the same thing tomorrow. So I don't mean to presume that everybody just fly by the seat of their pants and just say, oh, every day is the same, because, it is useful to use these conventions as a tool. It's useful to get things done, on some sort of a timeline, have deadlines, have productivity during this time, and relaxation during this time. But when people, or when I have let myself, let these conceptions and let these man-made things, rule or determine my emotional, standing, the way that I feel about myself, come on, that's just silly. I took a representation of something to be used as a tool, and I applied it as an ultimate reality, which then, made me feel a certain way about myself. Now, I won't say, like, people didn't do that to me. Like, I let that happen, and I had to realize the difference between the two. But still, knowing the difference, knowing that is not the definition of time. And also knowing that whatever obligations you have during the day, whatever things you have to do, the same amount of time happens each day. Time. The same amount of, the same amount of like the sun rising and the sun setting happens each day. Just because there's more tasks, just because it seems like there's more things that need to get done, doesn't mean that you have to spread yourself so thin that you exhaust yourself emotionally and mentally and physically, so that like it is very taxing on you. Knowing that you can move at a steady pace and you can accomplish tasks, because there is only just like right now to experience, and you can only accomplish these things in this now moment. You can't make more time happen. You can't say like, oh, I've got all these obligations to do, and then create more time in order to do these things. You can just chip away piece by piece, one thing at a time, and hope that things get done. And if they don't get done, guess what? You have an opportunity tomorrow. You have an opportunity. You'll probably have more. And worst comes to worst, that thing doesn't get done, and it probably won't be the end of the world. So, I've seen this a lot in myself. I empathize with it majorly. I had to do some soul searching and just some understanding of, life and existence in the universe in order to really feel, like that it's okay that I've had these feelings, and it doesn't have to determine how I view myself or life or, my emotional standpoint with people or how I interact in the world. Those are fun things to think about.